Welcome back to another episode of The Money Mentor with Graham Home. A very, very special guest today. I know that I'm meant to be G, but we have another G in the house today. Hello, how are you, sir?
Good, mate. How are you?
I'm actually really excited to have you here, to be honest. Really excited. So I appreciate you coming up to join us, except for the weather that you brought.
I didn't bring it, but yes, thanks for having me.
I've got to have some banter. I've got to blame somebody, right?
Absolutely, mate.
Mate, real pleasure to have you here today. I'd love you maybe, just for people tuning in from home, give us a bit of background of your story, your journey, how you got here today. So like kind of pre-Infinity and who you are, family, etc., and how you got to Infinity, how you found us, and then we'll talk about where you are today.
Yep, no problem. 52.
You're looking 42 at the moment, by the way.
Thanks, mate.
You're doing all right.
It's the 75 hard.
Yeah.
Which is a whole nother story.
Yeah.
We went through life, pretty conservatively, living with my mum and dad. Dad was always making some good dollars, but never took the risks. So, investing in that type of scenario was never part of what we learnt growing up. So the money side of things was always bank. When I met Grace was from the other side of the fence. Her father didn't quite make such good money, but was willing to take risks, and so she learnt the other side of financial investments. And I think I said it in our MAM that she paid for our first block when we got married, cash. So she taught me finances,
right?
In a big way. I used to spend on cars, as young Aussie blokes would do.
Yeah. Some of us still do.
So do I. I didn't say that. I might get in trouble.
Yeah.
Really, it was all about learning the financial side of things through Grace. She taught me. Once I learnt, then I sort of took over from her. Went through a phase of investing. Had a couple of properties up in sunny North Queensland.
Yeah.
Couple in the Gold Coast as well.
Yeah.
GFC hit, and then that brought all that crashing down. And then really from there, it was all about the kids and just trying to get back on track and recover from those losses.
Yep.
And then tragedy hit our family. Grace got cancer and had a really tough 5-year battle. Towards the end of that battle, she was given the all clear, and so we thought, good times. We can start focusing on things for the family, getting back to doing what we want to do, making changes on the home front, making plans for big family trips. Our 25th anniversary was coming up, and we were going to take the boys to Italy. And then 2 months after she got given the all clear, then she got, I got the news that her whole body was ravaged, including her brain. And she only survived another 3 weeks. So, she fought like there was no tomorrow. She was grabbing the handle on the hospital bed, doing chin-ups to fight. She fought tooth and nail for us. She was always scared of me with my weight and being healthy, and if something happened to her, and I know she spoke to my family and her family behind my back to make sure that should something happen to her, that everyone pushed me in the right direction. Not just in the wealth side of things to make sure that my boys were okay, but to make sure that I was fit and healthy, and everyone's been on my back for a long time for my weight. And then I to be honest, I was just thinking about, how I came to be part of the Infinity family, and things happen in a strange way. And so at that time, I think it was only 7-8 months after Grace passed away, and one of your posts came up on my Facebook. And it was just completely random that I had not even contemplated looking at finances or looking at that side of things. I was just trying to get myself out of dark space.
Yeah.
And I think I truly believe in a higher being, and the only thing that I can think of that brought you into my socials, because our phones listen to what we do. I'm a cybersecurity consultant. I know that this is what happens, is that I was looking at an infinity tattoo for my wife.
Right. At the same time.
Around the same time, a few months earlier. And I got an infinity tattoo on my arm for my wife with what we used to call each other, which was lava, not love. And my wedding vows, the last words of my wedding vows. And that's the only thing that I can think of that brought
Infinity from the phone listening, maybe.
From the phone listening. And now that I'm thinking about it, and she was worried about my health as well. And so, everything that you've brought to me is not just about money. And you touched on it before. You said, I look 40 and 75 hard, and I'm.
Now you look like a different man since we spoke just recently.
Yeah, I feel completely
your
different.
Skin, like you look different, man.
Yeah. I feel it. I absolutely feel it, and I want to thank you.
How do you feel?
I feel young. I feel young. Thanks.
Mate, you look. Honestly, you look $1 million. You look incredibly different. Like your arms, your shoulder, your skin.
I haven't been in the gym since around 2017. I was on the other side of the gym equipment. I'm a qualified PT as well.
Right.
I took a little break from cyber and went and got my certs. And I haven't done anything since then. And that was roughly around when Grace first found out that she had cancer. It was like, everything just stopped. Life just stopped. And everything was, backwards and forth to the hospital. Almost every day at some stages. So, yeah. So that's how we've come about to be linked.
Interesting set of circumstances. A little bit too interesting, right? To think of the tattoo. She's worried about your health and your weight. When you do come to join us, I'm going through similar things myself, as far as weight and health, and to then think that we've got 75 hard going, which you're doing at the moment.
Yeah.
And then when we're talking to each other, I'm like, fuck, you know what? I'm going to help with the food, because I know Nonna's going to be feeding you and the boys and looking at
overfeeding,
and I love my
she still calls.
I bet she probably hates me at the moment.
She's still calling. She doesn't get the gist of, and to all his credit, my youngest, Giuliano, little G, he's full on. He's like...
So he's doing it with you?
Oh, yeah. And the other big win, and to me, it's more important to me, this particular win, than finances, than my health, and it's to do with Giuliano. With his autism, his eating of food is just completely next level to everyone else. He sees something green, he will not eat it.
Right.
He sees chunky vegetables, he will not eat it.
Right.
I need to blend and blitz vegetables up for him to eat. I need to hide things for him to get. So that
colour on the spectrum for him just
will not touch anything.
Right.
These Papa Macros, he's devouring every last grain of rice, every vegetable.
Really?
Without complaint.
Oh, I'm going to have to send...
G gave me these. I'm doing the 75.
I'm going to have to send Marco a message, because Marco from Papa Macros and the team helped him chip in with that as well. So he'll be pumped to hear that.
Absolutely gobsmacked that, he's gone down that path and he's now eating everything in those.
That feels Bec. And just to give everyone at home some context at the moment, big group of our community are doing 75 hard, which is a mental health, a fitness challenge, whole heap of things blended into one discipline. And Bec and I said that we would look after the food for the family while you were doing that, because it's hard, it's expensive, time poor. So what we're referencing there is just a 75-day challenge everyone's going through of completely clean eating, not a single cheat meal, 45-minute workout twice a day. One
Twice a
must be outdoors.
In this rain, thank you.
Yeah, 4 litres of water, or 3.8 litres, a gallon of water a day, which is probably going to
Fun.
stop and pee during the session.
Yeah.
10 pages of a personal development book, and a photo of ourselves every day, which is a little bit daunting. Do you start to see some change?
I've seen some change.
So how are you tracking in that? Besides, obviously, the food is great for little G, but how you look amazing. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling really good. The weight is starting to get pumped up in the gym.
Yep.
Which is, and I'm not going as hard as I used to back 10 years ago. I probably would have just went hard.
Got to ease into it,
injured
right?
myself.
Yeah,
and
then
and
it's
I'm
all
easing
over.
into it because I've got little G with me every morning in the gym.
Okay.
And I'm teaching him the ropes of how to exercise, and even he's
Is he enjoying it as well? By the
he's
sound of
loving it. He's realizing the change where, even on Thursday at basketball training, he always jumps to see how high he can touch the net, and he's just touching the net. And on Thursday, he jumped up and didn't realise he touched halfway up the net.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, so he's got like an extra 3 inches at least in his vertical jump.
And this is just in the first month and a bit,
This is
right?
just a month, yeah. And I've really eased him into understanding what the exercises are first. So,
Yeah.
So with him there, Dad likes to show off a little bit, and sometimes my other son will come, and he's been into the gym now for the best part of 2 years, and he'll put the weight on the squat rack, and then I'll just step up and say, okay, that's my warm up now.
What's the actual set?
No, I'm feeling it all coming back now.
And you've done a body scan? Have you weighed yourself? Do you know how you're tracking?
I'm about 7 down.
Well done.
7 kilos down.
Well done.
And I think I'm maybe 2 kilos of muscle on. So 7 kilos of fat down.
Well done.
Yeah, I can feel it. I can feel it around. It's mainly skin in some places now, so I can really feel it.
And how you feeling the food?
I'm loving the food. I'm okay with the food. Probably when I got the meal plan, I'm like, really? That much food?
Yeah.
I was sort of the opposite of what I was
funny
doing.
when
I was
you
probably
gotta-
starving myself, to be honest.
Oh, yeah.
Beforehand, which is the wrong way to go about it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's a lot of food. And the first week I struggled actually with the food because it was like, oh, that's a lot.
Yeah.
And even breakfast, I was having 2 eggs on toast, and I've cut that down to 1.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just a hard-boiled egg or something like that. It's like, that's a lot of food.
Yeah.
I'm getting used to it now.
Okay.
Yeah, so
Especially when you're training twice a day.
yeah.
And it's got to be sustainable, right? I've done things before. I lost 10, 15 kilos real quick and just put it back on. It needs to be a
Been in the same boat.
new way of life.
But
Well,
all up. And because I started 75 hard the first time round,
Yeah.
so I was at 119 back then. Pretty sure it was 119-ish. I'm down to 111 now.
Wow.
Well, that was as of Thursday.
Okay.
But yeah, I probably, and I didn't start 75 hard previously, but
Yeah.
I was watching everyone's journey and sort of started. So my journey started at 126.
126. Wow. And 111, did you say?
111 at the moment, yeah. So
Okay.
unofficially,
Yeah.
since being part of the Infinity family and
You're
watching
losing
everyone's
debt, you're
do it, I'm
losing
watching-
weight. It's all happening.
losing hair, something.
Yeah. That's just me stressing you out.
Yeah.
So it's really, I'm pumped to hear all of that feedback. The food, the training, little G, all of you, all the boys. That fills me up because that was the intention, was to get you boys together. New way of life, not changed way of life, but a new perspective on life. Maybe
It's a change of life too.
yeah,
It
like
really
maybe if
has.
you think, I mean, it's still good to have that comfort food and family, but maybe get a new framework for you boys to look after each other for much longer.
It's brought me and G closer.
Okay.
I don't know if it's because of Grace passing. He would walk to the opposite side of the house to me. So if I went upstairs, he would go down. And when I go downstairs, he'd go up, and I don't know what it was. So I don't know if it was his way of reacting. I don't know if I'd done something wrong. But now, every morning we're together. We go for our walks every night together, or sometimes during the day. We're just always together now. So
You're bonding now.
it's brought us together, and it's it's
And a little bit of
fills me up.
a little
It
bit of
fills me
healthy
up.
competition maybe as well.
Yeah, no, he's a twig still.
There'll be
I've
a
got
little
them
bit,
both covered, but
little bit of healthy competition once they hear this. Eh?
Dad's a white line fever beast, but
Yeah.
no, but
Well,
I can't thank you guys
I'm
enough.
really glad to hear that because it's not us, it's just something that we do that we know can have a massive impact on the community. So, really glad to hear that, and I'm glad the food's doing so well from Papa Macros as well. That's really good. Tell us financially. Obviously, Grace was the huge influence on teaching you the investment stuff and the managing the money and all those sorts of things. So, when you did, by all sorts of interesting circumstances, come across us, what did the finances look like back then for you?
So I had, we only had one house, so all our properties, we had at one stage, I think it was 5 investment properties way back in the early 2000s. So we lost all those. Or had to sell them to cover off various things, like me trying to start businesses and things like that. When I came across you guys, I had our current home. I had 570,000 in a split mortgage. So what was originally a fixed term loan and a variable split, and in 27 years still to go. Because in our married life, we had 3 different houses. So build a new home, get a new mortgage, refinance that one, build a new home, refinance. We thought we were doing the right thing, and we're just putting ourselves more and more in the shit, to be honest.
Yeah, starting all over again.
So 570. We had plenty of bank accounts, probably too many. When I came to the first class with yourself and had to go through our numbers and figured out I've got $160,000 in savings, and then you're like, bullshit.
We're plonked all over the place, but you've got all this debt over here.
So it's like you're not saving crap.
Yeah. We don't have savings if we owe the bank money.
Yeah, exactly right.
Do you think that's, as parents, society, like we grow up with these things and beliefs and...
I grew up, it was put money in the bank, put money in the bank, put money in the bank. That's how I grew up. That's what my dad taught me.
Yeah.
That was ingrained in us to put money aside for a rainy day, just in case, always. So, I had the 570 on the loan and 160 sitting in the bank for the rainy day. Our credit card, I'd pay that off every month. And, when we got the investment properties way back in the early 2000s, that's what we were taught. Buy everything on the credit card and then wipe it at the end of the month, and you're good to go.
Yeah, there'd be no cash left. The card was paid in full.
Yeah, it was
great system for the bank, mind you, back then.
Well, that's, like I said, that's what we were taught when we went through that process of purchasing those investment homes.
Yeah.
And then a couple of cars that we always bought cars in cash.
Yeah.
Which is the one time I did have a car on finance, bought a $52,000 car, and then 3 years later it ended up being traded in for $2,000, and I'm like, that's wasn't worth that money. It's like I thought I lost. So that was our finances.
Okay. And so the 3 of you now, so the 2 boys and yourself, and they can eat as well.
Oh yeah. Tell me about it. Things disappear real quick.
And you're working for yourself?
No, I work for a company. It's a bit of a funny situation the way it works. Full-time employed, but I get paid when customers pay. So my pay schedule is not a salary.
Almost a contract role.
It's almost a contract role, but not a contract. So I could get paid as little as $5,000 a month.
Yeah.
Or I could get paid as much as $25,000 a month.
Yeah.
So, and it's not until the bills come in that we get that money coming to us.
Right. So it's very sporadic.
Yes.
Very hard to manage the household with big ebbs, flows, dips, troughs, etc.
So you really need to plan if you want to do anything in advance.
Okay.
Holidays and things like that. So
yeah.
Makes it hard. And if something untoward comes about, then That's why we got the money in for a rainy day in the bank.
In the bicky tin in the backyard in the veggie patch. Stashed somewhere, right?
Tell everyone our secrets, mate.
Now, tell me, how long have we been working together now?
Officially, I signed up, I think it was June 2023.
Yep. So we're just going on our 2-year anniversary.
Yeah, the first cut of finances happened, I'm pretty sure it was around New Year's 2024. So it would have been late 23, early 24.
So about a year and a half ago.
Yep.
Yep.
So yeah, it's about 18 months now.
Okay. And what's the loan come down to since we started?
So from the 570, I'm down to 104.
Pardon?
104.
How'd you do that?
Followed your process. I
From
became...
Now we had 570.
Yes.
Had 160 in cash stashed.
Yes.
Or savings.
Yes.
So the 570 drops to 410, 160. Okay. And then you've paid that 410 down to what?
104.
104. So 300 plus grand
Yep.
in 18 months.
Yep.
That's fucking wild.
I put it down a couple of things. Your process, me being a bit tight and following the budget.
Yeah, you tight prick. I love it.
I set a really aggressive budget of $350 a week.
That's pretty tight for three men.
I only increased it at the start of this year by $50 because little G got his license and was going to drive my old four-wheel drive around.
Okay.
So that was extra $50 for petrol money for him. What also helps is because my son's so into his fitness now and clean food, he almost does all the shopping for us, and
right,
it's really clean eating and very budget friendly.
Right.
So there's no junk food, and we, being Italians, we don't often go out to restaurants and things like that. For us, an adventure eating out is at Nonna's.
Yeah, of course.
Got the full spread.
Of course.
So yeah, we always go there, and little G always gets his little cornetto every time he goes, and a chocolate. So for him, that's all he needs. And I've never been one for restaurants and things like that, because we've always cooked at home. You know, that's a cultural thing for Italians. We cook. No one cooks as good as us. So.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. That's true.
And then also just me being able to get back into work, because I took some time off, and then when I did come back, I came back, a couple of days a week. But I can work as hard or not as hard as I choose, with the way that we operate. So sometimes I've got 6-7 clients on the hop at the same time. So just really busting the gut to get things done. So yeah, it's that number 104. I've just done some numbers when I was chatting to Erin just this week, and I asked her, "Oh, Erin, what have I got left?" She goes, "Oh, 104," and I started giggling because I had my personal spreadsheet of what's coming in and what's owed. And she said, "Oh, why are you giggling?" And I said, "It's the number that I'm owed
from all of the work
all
out
the
at
work
the moment.
that still hasn't been paid."
Okay.
And she said, "What's the number?" I said, 104.
Okay. But that could come in
That could come in any time.
months, weeks,
Yeah, it could
years.
come in. And I then went a step further and looked at, okay, the big piece of work from overseas that I've been waiting for has finally been approved, and so should, and I say should, come in next month's pay, which is in a fortnight's time.
Yeah.
So that 104 will potentially drop to 34.
Wow.
Fingers crossed.
Wow, watch this space.
Fingers crossed.
So it's highly likely that the debt will be gone at the end of the year.
That's what I'm hoping for. Hopefully before my 53rd birthday, which is
Well
November.
done.
Then I can retire. No.
No, not yet. Not yet.
No.
We've got to get some legacy for the boys and yourself.
Absolutely, yeah. And that's the next thing that I asked with I asked Erin, let's start planning. I'm ready to go again. And that's the other part of it too. There's always the opportunity to go again and buy more investments, but I've held back because I wasn't quite ready. I had other things to do.
Yeah.
I said, let's go. Let's do it.
Okay. And we've got a couple of investments along the way again as well, right? So obviously back GFC time, not great, let them go, clear the debt, but you've still jumped back on the horse because you've done a couple of investments with us since we started as well. Yep. So you're building again as we speak anyway. Yep. But it sounds like you're saying, all right, this debt's going to be gone shortly. Let's keep building on top of what we've already built. Is that a good summary?
Yeah, absolutely. It's like I said in our last catch up, it's all about the boys for me. Okay. I want to set them up because it's not going to be easy for them going forward.
Yeah.
Housing is just getting more expensive and it's going to be harder. And Massimo, my eldest, has now dropped another bombshell that he might want to stay at uni and do something else.
And keep studying for
big, but I won't say what it is.
Well, if he can keep training and eating clean and keep studying, good on him.
Yeah, Papa will pay for everything.
Yeah, good on him. Yeah, keep the extra one at home for a while. He'll keep you on your toes.
He can stay at home for as long as he likes. It keeps me company. So,
tell me, have any conversations changed at home around finances? Are the boys aware of the journey you're on? Are they part of it? Are they included, excluded? What's that like?
We've had some interesting conversations.
Okay.
Sometimes they're a one-way screaming match, but early days, I sort of did it without letting them know what I was doing. Again, it all comes back to I don't know how they're feeling about things after Grace passing, so I didn't want to burden them with, hey guys,
financial stuff.
We've got to be a little bit tight now. I'm doing this.
Yeah.
All I let them know was, things are going to change. We're not going to have so much crap in the house.
Yep.
We're not going to have such, extravagant spending habits.
Yep.
I might say no a little bit more often.
Okay.
With things.
So you prepped them for the change.
I prepped them for the change.
But didn't get too much into it.
No, not quite. Once the property in Melbourne dropped through the super, I went and showed him because it was literally around the corner. It was funny because when I was talking to Lou and he introduced me to it, and he's like, "Oh, I've got this one over here," and I'm like,
"It's around the corner."
That's around the corner. He goes, "Oh, is it?" I said, "Yeah." I'll go take photos of it straight after the call, and literally within 15 minutes, I'm sending him photos.
So that you were able to show that to the boys.
I was able to show that to the boys. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they were wrapped.
Okay.
They were like, and in fact, Massimo said, "Oh, so if I want to move out of home, can I go sit in?"
Not that one.
It's
in the super fund. Not allowed.
No, you can't do that.
Yeah.
I said, he goes, "But if I move out of home, don't I get student allowance?" I said, "No, mate, you've got to be like an hour and a half away by public transport. That doesn't count anyway, even if it was
cheaper
close.
At home, mate. It's cheaper at home."
I go, you got half the rooms of the house now with all your stuff. So that was the introduction to, look, I've just bought this place.
Okay.
Yeah, through super. This is what I'm doing. You've seen that I've locked myself in my study, being on meetings.
Yeah.
Did the weekend seminar, and they're like, "Oh, can I come and disturb you?" Because they come to the side, because my office is an old balcony.
Right.
So I've got the sliding doors.
Yep.
That they just come to my bedroom and the sliding door and just stand there. And if I don't acknowledge them, they won't disturb me because I'm either at work or doing something important. They're like, "Oh, we haven't been able to disturb you all weekend." I said, "Just hold off, guys. It's something really important for you guys, not for me, for you guys." And then slowly but surely I've introduced them into the process.
Yep.
In fact, Massimo holds my food, fun and fuel card.
Oh, does he?
Yeah, because he does most of the grocery shopping now.
Okay.
So he's on there, and I'm always checking it and saying, "What did you buy from there?" And he's like, "Oh, I bought eggs or something."
Yeah,
He
yeah.
might go some random shop and buy
Organic eggs or
4
something.
dozen eggs.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm like, all right. So, but no, he knows now that there's $400 that comes in every week for that, not to overspend.
Yeah.
If he wants to buy something out of the ordinary, he'll ask.
He'll
first.
ask. Yeah. So you got a real team going on.
Yeah, everything's changing. Everything is changing. So yeah,
Okay.
it's.
And you said little G's just eating the food, the Papa Macros we got delivered.
Just eating it. He's just eat it. The first time he had the beef stroganoff, saw the mushrooms, and he's like,
Whoa.
and I had beef. We were eating the same meals at the same time, and he
Yeah.
sort of started. He grabbed my fork and he's pushing my food around. He's like, "You got less mushroom." I said, "Sorry, mate, it's my meal." Yeah, probably double or 3 times the mushrooms. He's like, "But can you have some of them?" And I'm like, "Give me a third of your mushrooms."
Right.
I said, "But you got to eat them all."
Yeah.
Because G gave us these,
Yeah.
and we've got to do the right thing and eat them all. You know, all right, I'll do it. And
So he's on board.
He's on board. He's on board.
So because Bec and I have said, all right, we're going to buy the food, he's...
100%.
Wow.
100%.
That's impressive for a young man.
Yeah. He's respectful of the fact that you guys put that on the table for us. So,
Wow.
yeah,
I'm impressed.
I'm loving it. Yeah.
So
And
how
it's
old are the
and
boys?
it's a little thing.
Give everyone at home some context for the boy's age.
So
Sorry.
Massimo will be 23 in December.
Yep.
Giuliano will be in August 19.
Okay.
Yeah, and he's been a real challenge. And Massimo, Giuliano with his autism has been a real challenge. He
Yeah.
was non-verbal up until probably about 5.
Yep.
We put him in this exclusive program, which that's another part of what hit us hard. It was 65,000 a year to have him in this essentially a daycare program
Yep.
before we could even think about putting him into grade prep.
Right.
And he was non-verbal at the start, and he came out relatively okay.
It's awesome.
And it wasn't just that program; it was Grace's hard work. Because
Yeah.
every night she would go and she would ask the therapist, "What have you done today?
Yep.
Write it down for me." And they're all gobsmacked. Oh, why?
Yeah.
You're the only mum that aren't, because I'm going to smash him at home with the same process.
Enforce it every night, every day.
Enforce it every night. And,
Wow.
so she gave up her career and just focused on the boys and said, "You go off, you go make the money, you look after us financially,
Yeah.
and I'm just going to take care of business here." And she did.
Inspiring.
Yep.
Wow. And here we are.
Yes.
Okay. So I'm thrilled that the boys are actually embracing it, because that helps. Mate, you just look alive. You look vibrant compared to a month ago, even, right? 2 months ago, which is a big tick for me. Like,
And Massimo's been trying to push me in this direction for a
Has
little
he?
while. He's obviously been worried about my health as well.
okay.
So he's like, and even now he's like, "Oh, once we finish 75, we're going to do this. He's already got it all planned out. So,
Okay, good.
it's-
He can just ring me if you step out of line.
Don't take him up on that offer.
Was he surprised that there was some change eventually? Because obviously you were waiting for something.
Yeah.
Or sometimes we just never take action. You were waiting for something. There's some trigger there, obviously.
What are you referring to?
The health change, obviously a 75 hard, or any of those things. At some point there was a change, because obviously you went, you know what, fuck it, I'm in, I'm doing it.
Yeah, look, I always go back to I was in a bad place.
Yeah,
Yeah, in a really dark space.
yeah,
And I probably tried to jump into too many things, too many extracurricular things that have taken me away from, worrying about the boys, or just away from everything.
yep,
And now I've come to that realisation that I've probably got to step back a couple of things as well. The finances was never on my radar. The health was never on my radar.
okay,
It was, you know what, just do it.
yeah,
Just do it. I was watching other 75 hard journeys before I signed up at the start of this year,
yeah,
and thought maybe I'll do something
okay,
and see how I go. And I dropped the 5-6 kilos just doing something,
yeah,
without even trying. Or not so much not trying, without focus.
yeah, okay.
Yeah,
A little bit of effort, but not full
a little bit of
commitment.
effort.
Yeah,
Yeah, just cutting out some of the junk food, which to me was convenience. It
Yeah.
was, I'm in a dark space. I've got, photos of Grace in my lounge room. I'll just go and sit there and I'll just break down. And then I'll just go and find something, to bring my mood up. And more often than not, that's food.
Yeah.
Everyone says, that's where they go to. That was the same for me. I just go to food. So the focus wasn't there, but once I hit that first round of 75 hard, I'm like, let's give this a real crack. And Musselman was really on my ass about it.
Okay.
Because he's dropped probably 25-ish kilos over the last year and a bit.
Wow.
Himself, and that was just him going, just changing his food habits. He was doing a lot of week-long fasts as well, just to change his gut health and whatnot. Now he's doing that all over again. So he's into his kefir drinks and
He's right into it.
By the time I get home, he would have made his first batches of natural yogurt.
Right.
So he's like gone.
Hey, it's not a bad. He could be in
No,
much worse
no.
directions in life.
No, he's looked at ancient Roman menus and things like that. He's really gone AWOL.
Okay.
To be quite honest. So he was pushing, and then the first round of, this year's first round of 75 hard came up, and I thought, you know what, let's just do it. Let's just do it, and let's see where it takes me. And I only lasted 18 days. So I got hit with kidney stones and ended up in hospital. But those 18 days was a life changer. Because I had to focus, because I had to concentrate and make sure that I was regimented all over again. And that's essentially how I've lived my life. It was almost, I haven't been in the armed forces or anything, but I was always lived my life in that way. My dad brought me up that way, very strict. I was never allowed to play sport outside of high school.
Right.
But I was a sporting animal. I loved it. I lived and breathed sport.
Okay.
So just getting that focus back, and those 18 days of being forced to focus, I felt like me again.
Okay.
So this time around, when you put it on the table, I'm like, no bother, I'll do it.
Easy, light work.
I'll do it. It's not that it's easy. I mean, I probably flippantly said it's easy. It's not hard compared to what I've had to go through. To me, it's just refocusing.
Structured, regimented.
It's structured, it's focused. It brings me back. It's brought me back to being me.
Yeah.
The me that I know, the me that Grace loved. That's where I want to be.
I love it.
Yeah, that's where I want to be.
That's where you deserve to be.
That's where we all deserve to be, yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. I'm glad little G's liking the food. I'm glad Massimus smashing your ass as well, so that's good to hear. Yep. So if we fast forward a little bit, so at the moment we've got a couple of investment properties now, we're smashing the mortgage. Highly likely it's gone before the end of the year. We've got investment in Melbourne, investment in Queensland. Where do you want to end up? What's the plan? If we looked at you in 6 months' time and a year's time and 2 years' time, planning a trip with the boys, I believe?
Like I said, for our 25th anniversary, we discussed, what were we going to do? What do you want to do with Grace? And she's like, well, 99 we went and did that tour of Italy. And it was fantastic because we were the only Italian-speaking people on the bus.
Right.
So we would deviate and go on our own every city that we went to. So she really wanted to take the boys on that adventure as well. So that's what we wanted to do. And I've spoken to the boys and I said, look, this is where we went. These are the cities we visited. Do you want to do that? And let me take you where I took Mum. And they're like, yeah, 100%, we're on board. Okay. I was always worried about little G.
Yeah.
Because, you go to Italy and it's all architecture, so on and so forth. Yeah. And I'm like, how's he going to handle that type of stuff? He's going to be bored out of his brain.
Yeah.
But then when we went to Berlin in 23, he was with the team, the Australian team, and they went to Potsdam, and I'm asking him, what's it like? He's like, The architecture's fantastic.
And just to give some context, he's representing Australia in basketball at
in basketball for the Special Olympics.
Special Olympics. Yeah. Pretty cool. Well done.
He was 16 at the time, went up.
Yeah, and he loved it.
He loved the architecture. Potsdam was the old Prussian area of Germany, and he couldn't stop talking about it. And the Berlin Wall, they visited the Berlin Wall, and Checkpoint Charlie, and he absolutely loved all that side of it. I'm like, what's happened to my boy? I'm fearful of taking him to Italy and anywhere ancient because that's all it is, ancient.
Yeah.
But here he is, completely changed.
Right.
I'm like, okay, maybe Italy is on, and they've agreed to it. So I desperately want to take them.
Mm-hmm.
We ain't going cattle class.
No,
I
good.
experienced business class last year when I went overseas for work, and definitely take them business class all the way.
Okay.
So it'll be.
So boys on tour, 3 boys, Italy, business class.
Yep. 100%.
Okay. Next year.
Plan is next year. So Musman will finish his current course. I say his current course next year.
Yep.
I was always planning to wait for G to finish year 12. He's now dropped out of school and got other plans that he wants to undertake. So I was always going to wait for that to happen.
Yep.
So yeah, next year.
Okay.
It's like we're on like Donkey Kong.
Done. All right. Debt should be gone. You reckon end of this year? Actually,
hopefully sooner.
We're going to do round 2. So we're going to do December. This is June.
Yep.
So we're going to get through 75 hard. We're then going to, whether you break or whether you go into phase 1 or Mass has got a new program for you, we'll see what that looks like. But we're going to get together again in December and see what the next 6 months looks like. But I want to hear it from you. Where do you think we're going to be in December?
And I've already spoken to Erin as of last week. And I put her on the table. I said, I've got a couple of things that I want to put on the table, and let's see which path we take. So the first one was, and I know you'll hate this word, is retirement.
Okay.
I deal with highly strung individuals all the time, trying to help businesses with their cybersecurity, and it does take a toll. And I don't want to be working for a long time. I want to start enjoying what I can with the boys.
Yep.
Whilst they'll still hang around with me.
Yeah. While it's not too uncool.
Yeah, exactly. So that's avenue 1. So I've put it on Erin to talk with Zachy and Lou and see where we need to sit in terms of, okay, what do I need to be able to do that?
Okay.
Avenue 2 is let's go hard with properties, and
everything.
I'll just keep pumping in the money and just keep doing what I have to do.
Yep.
And really set the boys up. Ultimately, I want to really set the boys up.
Okay.
But how fast can I go to set it up, and let's say a year, 2 years, stop working.
Okay.
And then the third one is another little project on the side, which may or may not come through Infinity, but it's to set G up with his own business.
Okay.
With another mutual friend.
Okay. There's three options.
So I've got 3 options. By December.
Yeah.
And I have told Erin that yes, let's go for it. Let's go again. I think hopefully I'll have more properties.
Okay.
The debt gone, the bad debt gone, and then more properties by December.
Okay. Well, let's in the next 30 days get clear on which avenue we think we want to take. Whether it's 1 and 3, 2 and 3, whether it's 2, 1. Let's figure that out in the next 14 to 30 days, and then make sure we can execute and be underway for December. How's that sound?
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Question.
I knew you'd have the answers. That's why I'm excited.
Maybe. Question. What questions do you have for me? Any questions for me at all from you or the boys?
How do I know you're going to ask the question? I said it downstairs. Am I going to have to ask some questions?
That's all right.
I don't. I trust the process.
Okay.
I went through something very similar in 2000. Well, it was actually 2000. So I know in a roundabout way what the process is. I trusted it back then. It was just global circumstances that changed. A couple of probably bad decisions on my part to stop work and try to start a consultancy.
Right.
That brought it down.
Yeah.
I'm comfortable.
Okay.
I know
So
what to expect.
you can see everything working.
I see it
You know where
working.
we're headed. It's just a couple of avenues now to explore and to pick one or pick two and throw ourselves
and that's from
at
a
it.
finance point of view. But for me, it's more than that. It's like I've said already. My family's changed. You know, and
That's the fun bit for us.
And you and Bec and the whole team has changed my life. You can't imagine. It's the little things. It's like the eating for G. To see, we've battled with food with him for 18 years, and to see that happen, that's what fills my cup.
And ours.
You know, and for me to be healthier again. The big stat, and I don't care about the weight loss and you know, building the muscles and pumping the arms and all the rest of it. For me, it's that number that I always look at in my scans is visceral fat.
Visceral fat, yeah.
I started at 23, level 23.
Yeah.
Healthy is 10 or below.
Yeah.
I'm down to 19.
Okay.
In a month.
Yeah.
So it's the little wins that
Just that 1% each
you
day.
guys have brought into my life and my family that I can't be thankful enough to you guys.
Appreciate it, mate.
Whatever you put on the table, I'm going to trust you guys.
Oh, be careful.
Wholeheartedly.
That's rough, eh?
No Peppa Pig soup. I don't have words, G. I don't have words. You know, I could never have imagined this would happen in a million years. I never felt deserving. I always felt someone had it in for us. The shit we've been through. And then to have everything just 18 months, you know, just tick the box, tick the box, tick the box, everything's just clicking, you know. And it's not just the Infinity team, it's the Infinity family. You know, it's hearing the stories. You know, watched a post the other day with Adam and Shanae.
Adam Shanae, yeah.
You know, it's like Adam talking about what he's gone through, and I posted, I said, mate,
I was going to say, mate,
when I meet you,
Yeah.
you are going to get the biggest bloody man hug ever.
He's been through it as well.
Yeah, I know. You're changing lives, mate. You really are. It says it on your T-shirts. It says it on the jumpers, but you really do. And I don't know if you realise just how much.
We do.
And we can't thank you enough. You know, I'm going to speak on behalf of everyone. We can't thank you enough, but all we can do is just trust and share the love.
And man, that's all we ask. We appreciate it, because any one person that hears your journey and your story goes, right, I'll eat better, or I'll fix my credit card, or I'll piss, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
It's that one person that, not just them, but it's generational.
Yeah.
That could be the food, it could be the money. I mean, it's life, right? But if we can just play those little pieces for people, those little triggers, mate, everyone's living a little bit better.
Yeah, 100%. And you are changing generations. You know, it's the stories. It's little G in the food. It's Muscleman pushing me and now pushing me hard because you've got me on the journey. It's those stories. It's
Yeah,
the
I thought you'd be
Oscars.
scared of me, but you're gonna have to be scared shitless of muscle.
You're a big softy. You're like me, mate. You're tough on the outside. And,
Yeah, true.
and soft and gooey on the inside.
Yeah, I'm a Sunday on the
It's like,
inside.
mate, I never used to shed a tear.
Yeah.
Ever. You know, it's like, I'm just a big softy now. I cry at everything.
Well, mate, Bec and I really want to just thank you for sharing. Appreciate sharing the journey, and we'll have to get you up to Rem maybe come up and see us for REM the next couple of REMs whenever you're free, and maybe meet a couple of other people in the community.
You just tell me when, mate. I'll
No,
make
well,
myself
yeah,
free.
Adam and Shania are there, so he can give him his big man hug. We'll surprise him and stitch him up. And I want to give you a big hug. I want to say thank you to you. So big hug for sharing that. Appreciate it. Thank you.